The United States and Russia have reached a deal on a truce in southwestern Syria, the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said on Friday. The two sides reached an agreement during the G20 summit at Hamburg, Germany. The U.S. President Donald Trump and the Russian President Vladimir Putin both stepped aside and talked to each other away from the main economic conference and decided that a ceasefire would take place on July 9th. Now, earlier, 3 U.S. officials who asked not to be named, and they said they were not authorized to discuss the deal, said the truce was to take effect Sunday afternoon, Damascus time, and they did not elaborate on how the deal would actually be implemented. The agreement is separate from the de-escalation zones that were being created in a deal mediated by Russia, Iran, and Turkey during the 4th round of peace talks in Astana in May. So this is a completely separate thing from the agreements that have already been made. Now, it's interesting that the U.S. wants a ceasefire now, and now that their backed rebels are completely failing in their objective of toppling the Syrian government. There has been a number of high-profile victories that have caused a great deal of damage to this so-called resistance. A military source declared on Saturday morning that the army arrived in control over the Jabab Hamad village in the eastern countryside of Homs Central Province, after eliminating the latest gathering of ISIS terrorists there. It added that scores of ISIS terrorists were killed and that their arms and equipment were destroyed in the operations, indicating that the engineering units had dismantled mines and the explosive devices planted by the terrorists in the village. Now, there has been a bit of an uproar in the liberal media from a statement made by Rex Tillerson, who said maybe they've got the right approach and we've got the wrong approach. Of course, what they're referring to is the approach to Syria that Russia is taking. And then all of a sudden, this has been some kind of proof of collusion between Russia and Donald Trump, and that now all the accusations have been proven true. But we should understand that this is a very superficial statement and doesn't go deep to the core of the issue that is the Syrian conflict. We must keep in mind that Tillerson has also said how Assad leaves is yet to be determined. There will be a transition away from the Assad family. So as we can see, the issue of regime change is still what is on the table. This is still the goal of U.S. imperialism. They still want to remove Assad, whereas Russia says that Assad is the rightful leader of the Syrian Republic. So this is not some kind of great collusion between Trump and Russia proving some kind of nutball conspiracy. The struggle between imperialism and anti-imperialism is still very much going. But what I think is going to be really interesting is that if this ceasefire does happen, will we see the Al-Qaeda and ISIS forces inside Syria abide by the U.S.'s agreement to a ceasefire? I mean, if the Al-Qaeda forces and the ISIS forces are totally not on the side of the United States, even though they are deliberately being funded, trained, and being propped up by the United States, then they should be continuing and not agreeing to this ceasefire. But I think what we're going to see is the ISIS fighters and the Al-Qaeda fighters taking direction from the United States and abiding by this ceasefire agreement. I think it's very important to keep in mind that this ceasefire comes when U.S.-backed forces are losing. No doubt this will be used as an opportunity to pause, take a breather, and reorientate forces, shore up the defenses that they already have in order for future battles. By no means should we consider this the end of the Syrian conflict. This is absolutely not the case. This is a temporary ceasefire for both sides to take a breather and consolidate their forces. The Syrian conflict is far from over. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.